This is not gonna be a fun video. I'm finding this incredibly difficult. It's been a really stressful time. So if I don't seem chirpy, that's why. Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I didn't know if I was going to make this video. I didn't know if I wanted to make a video about the protests of the murder of George Floyd or of the wider race discussion that has now sprung up again following those protests or around those protests. I only wanted to make a video if it was not going to be reactionary and if I had something to contribute to the discussion. So hopefully this video achieves those aims. As you can probably guess from the title, this video is about how to promote and facilitate anti-racism within theatre, and I'll be discussing this through the lens of the Black Lives Matter movement, i.e. talking about Black experience within theatre. However, the things I'll be discussing can be extrapolated to other ethnic backgrounds, other marginalised groups within theatre, and other industries completely, from other entertainment such as music and visual arts to makeup, clothing, sports, etc. Also, before we begin, I want to acknowledge firstly my relative ignorance. I am not an expert in race relations, the full history of British colonialism or systemic oppression, but I do believe that my personal experience, along with my self-taught knowledge, makes me able to speak on this particular subject. Secondly, I want to acknowledge that I'm discussing this from a place of privilege as a mixed-race, light-skinned person. This is partly so I can get used to acknowledging my own privilege publicly, and also, just in case any white people are watching this, to hopefully demonstrate that this is not a simple issue. These are complex, ingrained systems that we're trying to dismantle. So, yeah, I hope that is clear. Me from the editing room. Last thing is that all of these points I'm about to make are quite simple things you can do. I'm not trying to be patronising. If you already know these things, then great, share the knowledge and the love. But these are all things that people in the industry don't do, either willfully or not, so that's why I'm saying them. Enjoy. So, with all that out of the way, let's start with what audiences can do to help. The first thing audiences can do is to support Black artists, not just actors and performers, but also writers, directors and other creatives. And also support Black artists in your local area. They are there, you just need to look for them. Secondly, listen to Black artists when we talk about our experiences. If you're one of those people who tends to think actors shouldn't talk about politics / racism / sexism, etc., stop. Just stop. We are not performing monkeys, we are human beings, and we have the right to use our platforms to make the world better and talk about the things that affect us, our families, and our communities. Thirdly, donate to and support companies that have a track record in supporting Black people in their casting, hiring, and programming. And fourthly, if you as an audience member notice any of the things I'm about to mention in the next section, say something, whether that's writing to the venue or the production team, posting on social media, or simply having a discussion about it with your friends and colleagues. So that's what audiences can do to help. Here are some things that theatre creatives can do as well. Firstly, here are some general things to kick us off. 1. Black people can see through your thinly veiled tokenism. If you cast one person out of your 5 leads as a person of colour, but your 20-strong ensemble is as white bread, that's tokenism and we can see it. If your programming repeatedly consists of casts where there's one person of colour, if any, that's tokenism and we can see it. 2. Historical accuracy is not an excuse. Black people existed in Britain before the 1940s. Number 3. Black people don't all come from the same place and we don't all sound the same. To paraphrase a comment I believe Reggie Yates once made, the Parisian and London accents sound exactly the same, don't they? There is not one European accent, there's not one Caribbean or African accent either. And 4, for the musical theatre people, Black people can sing legit. Our vocal talents are not limited to gospel and soul. We like Rodgers and Hammerstein when they're not being racist, you know? And now, on to specifics. White writers. If you feel the urge to write about Black experience, ask yourself why. Not only will it take a lot of work to attempt to create something that resembles authentic experience, requiring exhaustive research and workshopping your work with Black people from different backgrounds, but your motivation for writing this story will probably tell you if you should be writing it at all. If you want to make work for Black actors, That's not a good reason. We don't need you to be a white saviour and make us work. If you want to raise black voices and black experience, you're not. You're raising your own voice, and the experience you'll be trying to represent will never be truly authentic. If you think that writing a diverse play will get you more work, you're being a selfish hack and you don't have a story to tell. Agents, don't assume that your black clients won't be seen for a role if the appearance description doesn't specifically say black. And if the appearance description specifically says white, ask the casting director why. If they can't give a reason, you can suggest your black client. The worst that will happen is that your client won't be seen anyway, but you've started the conversation and you've pushed back against default stereotypical casting choices. Casting directors, if you see black characters in scripts that are written in a way that portray negative stereotypes, please say something, especially if the only reason that character isn't white is because of tokenism diversity casting. I've had this happen to me for a show that I auditioned for, and it was horrible. You're in the unique position of being separated from the creative team while still being privy to creative and casting decisions. Use that position to rectify these problems before they get to the actors and agents. Also, actively look for black talent for work where we are underrepresented, like legit musicals. Directors, if you have black company members, please remember that we're in the room, especially if you're talking about race, and ask for our input. You don't have to know everything, and actors are creatives too, so please ask for our help if you need it. And finally, artistic directors and producers. Your position allows you to do several things to help. 1. Stop unpaid internships for backstage roles. Diversity on stage needs to be supported by diversity off stage, especially in areas where white practitioners can have little experience of black needs, for example, makeup and hair. Unpaid internships restrict access for workers from lower income backgrounds, and that includes black people disproportionately compared to the general population. 2. If your story is about black people, hire black people for the creative team. Does it have to be everyone? No, although that would be fantastic. But especially if you're hiring a white director, have black creatives playing an integral role in the creative process. Or just hire a black director instead. 3. Program stories about black people that aren't about race. The play Misty, which is fantastic, go read it, discusses the concept of the black play and what that even is. We can talk about more than race and racism. Those stories exist, so please program them or commission them. And 4, which links into point 3, don't limit your diversity casting to plays with black people in them and everything else. That's not true diversity, and again, you're pigeonholing us into one type of story. This video is just some of the things we as a community can do to help. If you know of other things that are also helpful, please share them. Do feel free to respectfully continue the conversation in the comments if you wish to. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye friends.